Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Code Segments. Today we are going over file reading in Java. Here is our scenario. You are a grader for a class. The instructor of the class has given you a text document containing information about their students. This text file tells you that their name, age, and grade, and the teacher wants you to read this information into a program. This is actually a very common scenario. You need to read in information from multiple sources all the time to read it in, parse it, so you can figure out information. Especially when you have large data pools and server bases, this comes in handy. So here is the text file we got. And as we can see here, there's no commas or anything. We do have a decimal place. We don't need to worry about that probably. The reason being is Java will parse it automatically by spaces. And we can already tell that it's already separated out. So it seems like this is going to be the name. I don't think this is the grade. Why? Because I don't think people have 19 to 28, 34. And I don't think they're 95.7 years old. So we already identified the three pieces and how they're arranged. So we know it's going in this order of name, age, and grade. That's the first key step of parsing in information from a text file. It's figuring out which data point corresponds to what. And once we figure out what each point is, we have to figure out what data type we're reading in. In this case, we have the name. Names are going to be a string. Age is going to be integers because it's always whole values. And grades, since we have decimal places, it's going to be a float. And we've identified the three pieces we need to start reading in. Since we know what data types and what goes to what, we can actually start reading into our file now. So let's open up Eclipse. And first we need to get the file available in there. So in order to get the file in there, it's super easy in Eclipse. On my other screen, I'm going to drag and drop the file. So right now on my cursor, I have the file, and I'm going to just drop it right in the folder where I'm doing things. I'm going to copy it, and voila, we got our grades text file. And as you can see, it's the same text file we were looking at on the other screen. Easy enough. This is a key factor. Otherwise, we would have to do other kind of pathing techniques, which is a whole different item in itself. So let's create a file item. That way we can read from our text file. So in order to do that, we say file, give it a name. We're going to call it lowercase file equals new file. And then in the parentheses, we got to say the text file's name. So we're going to say grades, then .txt. The extension is very important, and that will do it. It's going to be angry with us because we haven't imported our files. So let's import file. Easy enough. Okay, let's create a scanner so we can read in this text file. So the file object is just creating a path to get to the file so we can read it, and the scanner is the actual item that does the reading for us. So in the parentheses we put in file because that's the file we want to scan in with our scanner. And then import that again, and still angry. Oh, yep, because what if it couldn't find the file? It needs to know how to handle that, so we're just going to add a throws declaration, file not found exception. So if it doesn't find the file, it knows how to handle that. Cool. So now that we have our the readability aspect, we need to still have a place to store all this information. So we're going to store it into three different arrays. So we said we had three different data types. We have a string, an int, and a float. So let's make three arrays for those, and we need it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. So string names equals new string, and then 7. Oh, I forgot the brackets on this side, and that's not where the semicolon goes. Boop, boop. There we go. Okay, and then let's make an integer array of ages equals new int array in 7. And then we need to make a float array. Float grades equals new float 7. And there we go. All right, now we have the places to store all this information. Now we do the actual parsing. So doing file reading and writing and parsing, Parsing and reading is the same thing, by the way. We use while loops. While loops just work out better because we don't always know the size of the length of our file. In this case, we're going to stick to 7 since we know it. If you don't know it, you probably want to use an array, but going forward, keep that in mind. So while the scan dot has next. So this will keep on reading while there is another line to read. So it's going to read in the text file line by line. Let's bring that text file up for us. So it's going to read line by line, go here to there, one by one. And then once it gets to a bio line, it's going to be like, oh, there's nothing below this. All right, we're done. That's what the has next is going to do for us. Then we need to parse it. And this is that's the beauty of Java. So we just say, we're storing this into an array. We forgot our counter, or at least I did. So we need to make a counter, int counter equals 0. The reason we're using counter, that way we know where we're storing the item. And we're going to say names at counter equals, and this is how you get the next item or the first item. You say scan.next. In this case, we want string. You can see here it tells you the return type, so we want the string. Perfect. And voila, that's going to store the first item, George in this case, into there. Cool. Let's go into the next one. So next we need to get an integer, so that's being our ages. So we're saying ages counter equals scan.next int, because we want the next integer, and we can see the return type here is an integer, so that's exactly what we want. Lastly, we got our grades, so we're going to say grades at counter equals scan.next. Oh, it already knew we wanted to float, and we're going to fill that in, and voila. And then we need to increment our counter, that way it's going through all of our array. Counter plus plus. And then let's do a check afterwards to see everything's working fine. So let's make our for loop to iterate through our arrays. Since they're all the same, we can use the same exit condition. I equals 0. I is less than, we're going to say names.length. Once again, we all know they're the same length, I plus plus. So we're counting by 1. And we're going to print system.out.print line, and then let's print out. So let's say this student's name is, then let's put in, oh, we didn't put in the parentheses, boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then we're going to say names at I. Then we're going to add on, they are and then we're going to say their age. Ages at I. Years old. Comma, and their grade is and then lastly grades at I. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, let's see if everything worked out. Alright, the student name is George. They are 19 years old and their grade is 95.7. Alrighty, let's check our text file, make sure that is correct. We got George, 19, 95.7. Perfect. Yep. Everything looks to be matching up. Oh. We got a null student. Did I miscount? What went wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 students. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. I didn't count. And it's a good thing I didn't count. This while loop saved me. So it didn't break because it stopped early. So me counting incorrectly saved me with the while loop. If I'd had not enough spots, it would have broken completely. So let's just fix that real quick. And that's why I use a while loop for scanning in files. That should fix things for us. We should have a null student. Perfect. And that's how you read it in text files. So it's pretty easy. So you have to say, make a create a file where you're reading it. Make sure it's in the correct spot, otherwise it can't find it. This is going to be your for loop to iterate through the entire thing, and you're going to just say what the scanner's name dot what. So dot next for strings, next int for integers, float for floats, so forth and so on. If you're ever unsure what you need, so you can just say scan dot, and then it's always next for parsing, and you can see what it gives you. So we can read in booleans, doubles, bytes, whatever we're looking for. And it's that simple to read it in the text file. I hope this video was helpful and that this gets you going on your homework. Please have a good evening and enjoy the rest of your day.